Welcome back. Today on the channel, we're going to be reviewing Wild Turkey's Forgiven 91 proof. How will it stack up? Find out next. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Wild Turkey's Forgiven 91 proof. This is batch 303. It came out in 2014. It's a 78% 6-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon and a 22% 4-year-old Kentucky straight rye. It's 91 proof, like I've said before. So this makes this what they would call a BOURYE. From what I understand about this blend, we'll call it, from Wild Turkey, is it was an accident. So basically they were moving barrels of rye, let's say, and barrels of bourbon, and they kind of got dumped together. Well, when they found that out, they tasted it, and they were impressed by what the juice was inside. And basically the person that did the mistake, the distiller or whoever it was forgiven. So thus they bottled it up and then shipped it out. This, I think, when it came back out in the day, I think it was like $65. You're talking now 9 years ago. So I got this on Unicorn Auctions. I think I paid $70 shipped. So that's not too bad. But I liked it because another channel, SLB Drinks, Kurt really raved about it. And I like BOURYEs. I like High West has one. Really like their BOURYE. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to pull the trigger. Try to get this. It's 9-year-old. It's a really cool looking old school, like a rare breed bottle. Why not try it? So with a little bit of history, let's get into the nose. This has, it's like, remember the Pez dispensers when they had the vanilla ones? That's what this note reminds me of. It reminds me of a vanilla candy. The it's thin. I won't lie to you. It's very thin. The legs are almost like there and gone. So there's really not much to it. Has a slight citrus, a honey note. Maybe like, you ever have fresh cut Granny Smith apples? That's a note that I'm getting off of this. Now some of my notes say like citrus zest, which I'm getting. Pie crust. I'm not really getting a pie crust on it. I'm getting more of that citrus zest, that citrus note, that honeyed note, like a ginger and a nutmeg. That's about it. So it's kind of there and going. And it's only 91 proof. So you're talking this is going to be a 10 proof points lower than like the Wild Turkey 101. So now we've gone into the nose. Let's get into the taste. You get that spicy note up front. You get a vanilla, like a muted apple, like the cut apples, like we're talking the crisp apples. You definitely get the rye spice. It's kind of headed back on the mid palate, just kind of sitting right here and just gently going down for that little bit of that hug. It has it definitely has a musty, oaky note. It's not huge. It has a cinnamon and pepper note. The pepper note to me is the one that's really standing out the most. That really hits that mid palate in the back of the throat and kind of hangs there. The finish is still good. I mean, for a BOURYE, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's kind of in the middle. I can see why they did this as like a one and done, because when it hit the shelves, it was there and gone. A lot of people really never kind of bothered with this because at the time, you're talking 9 years ago, bourbons were just, and ryes and that were just starting to rise. Not like they were during, the Rona. During the Rona, that's when I got into it in 2020. That's when I started getting into all the different YouTubers and the tastes and the flavors. And as my wife would say, I went kind of crazy with stuff. When you're talking over 580 some bottles opened, not including the bunkered stuff, it looks like I'm a little bit crazy, but I really like bourbon. I got out of beer. When you started doing all like Captain Crunch and Fruit Loops and beer, it didn't interest me anymore. The bourbons did. Because I can have an open bottle of bourbon, and as long as it's like where I'm at, in my basement, in my office, where it's out of the light and it's controlled and humidified beautifully. It's basically 70% humidity, 70% or 70 degrees in my basement. I keep a bottle like this for 5 or 6 years. You can't do that with a beer. You can't do that with any type of thing that you have to be carbonated. With this, I can. Plus, I really get a huge enjoyment out of bringing friends and family and letting them sample anything they want. Speaking of that, I want to throw this out there. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a huge giveaway. And I'm not talking some minor like, ooh, let's come and get my coin or I'm going to be doing like a giveaway of like a 17-year-old Old Fitz or an 18-year-old Elijah Craig or a Knob Creek, something that's harder for people to get. I'm going to give away a 2-ounce pour. So if you like what you're seeing, subscribe, send it out there. And at 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to go live for the first time ever, which will probably freak me out. Let's get into one more taste. Yeah, you still get that honey and that vanilla note. It's actually really good. You get a little, like a sugar cookie, but like the sugar, I hate to say this, like the sugar cookie like you buy in like the tins. They're good, but they're not like a fresh made sugar cookie. It's like that. So it's not bad. If you can pick this up for, I would say honestly, $70 or less, or if you see it, surprising if you still see it in the bar for like a $15 pour, 2 fingers, I'd say go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Brian. This is the Average Whiskey Drinker channel. Like I always say, find a bottle, open the bottle, enjoy the bottle. See, even old Dusties and old good whiskey are meant to be shared. Thank you so much for watching this short and sweet video. I will definitely talk with you guys soon.